morning. I will be with you in 1 second. Good morning, everybody. I think everything is up to speed. I am running a little bit late today. I had to go to the shop this morning. The taxi took forever to turn up. All kinds of things went wrong. It's going to be an absolute scorcher today. And as you can see from my complexion, I am not built for either speed or sunshine. That is not where my capabilities lie. Anyway, we have a lot to get through. It's Monday, which means we have a lot of charts to look at. We have a lot of news to cover. The big one, of course, is the Corgi AI Social Club quiz is on Wednesday. And the big question is Danny going to be allowed to play, or is Mary going to lock him in a cupboard for failing to win last week? That's the big question. That's the one we want to know. So that's coming up on Wednesday. We do have a few things starting on the 1st of July. One of which is that we're going to be doing some work with Orbi Protocol. They are a platform that has its own stablecoin. They are looking on how to expand the stablecoin. They have a way where you can basically borrow money without having to pay interest on your assets. There's a whole lot to talk about with Orbi Protocol, and we're going to have a look at them in some depth over the next month. We've come to an arrangement where we're going to make a few videos about their process, how you can earn yield, all of those kind of things. That's Orbi. We have Corgi AI, who we're going to be working with for the next month. Starting on 1st of July, we're going to do a quiz on Wednesday, and they have lots of other things to talk about. And then everything else that we talk about. Now, there's plenty of people in chat today. Velvet Rope, Hidden Agendas. Danny is here. KB is here. Who else is here? Danny is telling me it's 35 degrees. It's 30 degrees here. It was 25 degrees last night when I was trying to sleep. 25 degrees. I'm from Manchester. I don't think I was anywhere near under 25 years of age before I saw 25 degree heat. And I was trying to sleep in it last night. I'm not built for it. Good morning to Tariq. I hope you have started doing your research on Corgi AI. Remember as well, if you're in Telegram, I am selling the answers to the highest bidder. So far, there's a bottle of port on the line, and there's potentially some 6,000-year-old carved statues being sent to me. Actually, pictures of them being sent to me, not the actual statues, from Danny. So they're the people who are in there. Tariq is trying to tell me it's 52 degrees. Tariq's one of those people, no matter how hot you are, you could stick your head in the oven and put it on 160 degrees. Don't do that, but you could. And Tariq would tell you it's 170 degrees there. Tariq must live in a furnace. That's all I can say to Tariq. Now, I suppose we should get on with the show. Do you want to know what we're going to talk about today? We've got very few X-Files. We have the charts to look at. We're going to be looking at the DXY, Bitcoin dominance. We're going to look at Total and Total 3. Also going to look at a very important meeting today. Chairman Powell is going to speak. I think he's speaking quite early on, so I think that will make a bit of an effect on the market. We're going to look at $109,000 Bitcoin making history if that happens today. We're going to look at XRP or ADA. We're going to look at Bitcoin DeFi. We're going to look at syrup slipping. I looked at the chart today. I put the chart on X. Everybody was still asleep, but there is a chart out there. DOT. We're going to talk about DOT. I never talk about DOT. That's what I know that's what you're saying. Mike never talks about DOT. Mike doesn't like Gavin Wood, and that is very true. I do not like Gavin Wood, which is why I'm talking about .gon. And then we have Squid Musk. I can't wait to see if we get anywhere near that article. It's not Squid Game, and it's not Elon Musk. It's Squid Musk. Okay, so if anything's going to pique your interest today, it's that article. So that's what we're going to get through, and of course the X-Files. If you are new here, smash the like button. If you are not new here, smash the like button. But make sure to give us a follow and say hello in chat if you are new. By the way, the followers in the bottom left-hand corner, once we got above 200,000, I really did stop updating it. I think we're at 215,000. I think maybe a little north of that. Next target is clearly 250,000. That's a long way off. A long, long way off to get to 250,000. But we can still try. We can still try. So what you need to do today, as well as hitting the like button, is go and tell one of your friends about Crypto Warehouse. That's all you got to do. If every person that followed Crypto Warehouse told one of their friends and they subscribed, we would be at 220,000 followers overnight. If you did it on YouTube, that is. Right then, Bitcoin coming in at 107,500. Bitcoin did tickle the undercarriage of 108,000 last night. I think it got to 108.2. 107.5 for where we are now. I'm happy. And one of the things that I have been saying to the OGs is that we're going to have another all-time high before we come down. And I said June. And today is the 30th of June. So I'm going to be wrong again. But I was wrong in April. And we put in the all-time high 2 weeks later. So maybe maybe I'm going to be wrong this time. Maybe we put in the all-time high on the 14th of July. But I want to get to 114,000, 115,000. That's where I want to go. And if we go higher, if we go to 130, 150, I don't care if I'm wrong to the upside. What I will never do is overbeat an egg, because that way will not make a decent souffle. Ethereum under $2,500. XRP back at 220, where it likes to live. BNB doesn't really move. BNB is like one of those weeping angels from Doctor Who. If you watch BNB very, very closely, it doesn't move. You could spend a month staring at the BNB chart and it won't move. If you blink or look away or sneeze, it will be at $700. Okay, so BNB is the weeping angel of the top 10. Solana is back at $150. That's going over $200. The second we get the ETF announcement, it's over $200. The second the XRP announcement comes out, 250, 270, something like that. Absolutely nailed on for those prices. Doesn't mean that they're going to go to $500 or $5 respectively, but they are going to get a pump. The same with Ethereum when the staking rewards for ETFs are announced. They're going to happen and it's going to go up. And all of you doubting Thomases that said Ethereum is dead and it's going to $1,600, you're going to eat your words. You're going to eat a bowl of KB nuts. Tron, happy days for Tron. Not a fan of the project. Doge, hopefully will fall out of the top 10 sooner rather than later. Cardano needs to get back to 60, then 80 cents and overtake Doge. Hyperliquid, still under $40. Again, big things expected of Hyperliquid. I just think it's going to come down a bit. Maybe it won't. I just think it will. I think it's had a lot of really good PR with James Wynn and everything else. They do burn a lot of tokens. I know all of those things. But at some point, that needs to cool off. If you want to get into Hyperliquid, $25, $30 for me is absolutely perfect. Right, gainers and losers. And also, if you are here and you never say anything in chat, say something. Because you know the algorithm on YouTube, it looks at how many people actually watch us. And if nobody watches us and nobody talks, they think that we've just got an audience of corpses. 101 players turned up for the poker night. If you don't follow us on X, follow us on X. We mention this poker night probably every 2 weeks. 100 people show up on a Sunday night when I am trying to tuck myself up in bed. 100 people turn up to play on the Kronos Chain poker night. 100 people. Okay? It was 126, it was 131, it was 108, it was 101. These are big numbers. You might not be very good at poker. Show your face. Show your face, say hello. If you hold any Monkey Muscle NFTs, especially say hello to them and give them a shout out. Right then, gainers and losers. Arby is up an awful lot. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. Pudgy Penguins is up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Pith. I got really, really told off by somebody for calling it Pythe. But you see, where I'm from, there's a place called Blythe Spartans. And Pythe and Blythe are very similar. There's an L involved and an E, but it's very similar. Pythe is up Big fan of that. Big fan of Aerodrome. Big fan of OP. OP, if I had to choose between OP and Arbitrum, I'd choose OP because the OP stack is what a lot of these other layer 2s are created from. And some layer 3s, I believe, use Optimism as the base layer 2 for them. So I'm a big fan of Optimism. I think it's kind of like a coder's dream. You can build real-world asset blockchains. You can build, I've seen AI, I've seen gaming platforms all built on Optimism. So I'm a big fan of Optimism more than Arbitrum. But I think Arbitrum is trying to have a revival at the minute, especially with DeFi. So maybe they're both going to do quite well. I'd love all the layer 2s on Ethereum to do something at least. Immutable X is up. I remember when that was at $2. I like that project. Lot of gainers there. Losers then. We're going to have to get on with this. We're going to really overrun. Maple is down to 57 cents. I've tweeted about this, and I'm actually going to bring up my tweet in a minute when we go through the X-Files because I think it can come down lower. Okay? And I think that would be the time to get in. So I'm going to show you some prices in a minute. Pi is down. I hope Pi disappears. It basically disappears into infinity. Quant is down, but it's still $107. Decent. I was going to do an article about Quant today, but I decided against it. I can't. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't want to tell you about a coin that's done nothing for 4 years. It's done nothing. The project itself is fantastic, but the coin is detached from the project. It also has a very low circulating supply as well. Now then, how many times have I told you this? How many times have I said to Tariq, you got lucky, especially when he comes third out of 3 in a quiz. You got lucky, or you're gambling, okay? This is what happens. I made a video for the OGs on Friday or Saturday, I think it was. And what I basically talked about in the video is buy Bitcoin, okay? And I gave them some tips on how to buy Bitcoin. 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whenever I started buying Bitcoin, I was buying a quarter of a Bitcoin for £300 plus fees, £309 for a quarter of a Bitcoin. And I was laughing to myself at the time. What am I doing? Why am I buying this Bitcoin at this price? This is absolutely crazy. Then I was buying it at $10,000, $25,000. Why am I buying it at this price? It's probably topped out. It's going to come down again. Buying Bitcoin at $100,000 is going to give you that same feeling. It's too high. I need to wait for it to come down. I need to buy it at $60,000. You had a year to buy it between $20,000 and $40,000. Those days are gone. Maybe you'll be able to pick it up for $80,000, $76,000 in the near future. Great. But dollar cost average in. However much you've got in your budget to spend on Bitcoin, if you've got €100, you should be spending €25 a week on Bitcoin. There is a guy, I actually found it the other day, he's invested $83,000 in Bitcoin, and he's bought Bitcoin. I don't know how much he's bought in Bitcoin, obviously $83,000, but I can't remember what it equates to. Maybe it's $5 a week, maybe it's more. He's now got in excess of $1 million. Don't know what it is now, $1.5 million from buying into Bitcoin. Buying Bitcoin at $100,000 is cheap if it's going to $1 million. Buying Bitcoin at $1 million a Bitcoin is cheap if it's going to $10 million. It's always going to be a lot cheaper 4 years from now than it is today. And that's what you need to look at. Where's it going to be in 4 years' time? Not where's it going to be next week or the week after. Bitcoin is not gambling. Maybe Hyperliquid is. Maybe Litecoin is gambling. Bitcoin is not gambling. We've crossed the Rubicon as far as Bitcoin is concerned. There is no going back on Bitcoin. With everything else, there is a good chance that it's going to be fallible or replaced. Bitcoin isn't. It's already there. Okay? Once we see $200,000, $300,000 for Bitcoin, you are going to see people saying, oh, all the poor people are priced out of Bitcoin. All the poor people can't buy Bitcoin. All the poor people, they're being suppressed by the rich people. The poor people have had 14 years to buy Bitcoin. We tell everybody to buy Bitcoin. We told you to buy Bitcoin. But you're not going to be poor if you hold Bitcoin. You're going to be richer than you are today. You're going to be richer if you'd bought it 4 years ago and 8 years ago. It's just the way it works. This is what the rich people are doing. Okay? This is what the rich people are doing. Look at how many Bitcoin are mined. 3,000 a week. Look at what the rich people are doing. 125 plus 60 plus 8 is what? 195,000. So they're buying 6 times the amount of Bitcoin that's being created. 6 times. What is going to happen? They stop buying. Not going to happen. The price goes up. It's going to happen. 3, they run out of Bitcoin. It's not going to happen, but it's going to go a lot lower in terms of volume and exchanges than it is now. Okay? They're buying all the Bitcoin. And who is selling them all of their Bitcoin? You are. Don't sell them your Bitcoin. Why are they rich? Because they buy when everybody sells. Every time Bitcoin has gone down in the last 12 months, everybody's bought it that has a suit and tie on. And in some cases, a beard and bad skin, if you're talking about Michael Saylor. But you get the point. They're buying all the Bitcoin. Now then, this is a nice little segue. There is going to come a point in the future where you will be able to earn a yield on your Bitcoin. I don't want to sit here and sound like a bloody professor all the time that we stream, but I'm just trying to get this message across to as many people as possible. And that's this, okay? At some point, every exchange, every chain in the world is going to have a way to pay you for using your Bitcoin. Everybody. Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Binance, CB, CDC, very clever what I'm doing there, GT, K, Raken. They're all going to have these liquid staking tokens because they're going to want to use your Bitcoin. It's coming. Top left-hand corner, you will see, I hope, if you can just about see, that is powered by Core. Core, I have no affiliation with. None at all. I would like an affiliation, but that's not happened. I don't always get what I want. You know, I want to score the winner in the World Cup final. It's never going to happen. Get over it. But they are going to bring liquid staking Bitcoin to the masses, as is Lombard, as is Babylon. Okay? There are many others out there. Solve Protocol. Now, you might not trust them today. Okay, that's fine. I totally understand that. Not your keys, not your crypto. You're not going to trust them today. But at some point in the future, there is going to be an infallible way of you to earn a yield on your Bitcoin. 2/3 of crypto is in Bitcoin, and 2/3 of crypto is in Bitcoin, but 2/3 of crypto you can't earn a yield on. Financial institutions have a way of earning yield on gold. They will find a way of earning yield on Bitcoin. And this man right here, he's already found the way with his Bitcoin hotel. And you'll be able to take out a room in the Bitcoin hotel and you'll be able to earn yield on that Bitcoin. And that man is, as of July the 1st, going to be listed in the top 500 on the S&P. Every week that goes by on this channel, something gives me goosebumps. Okay? Maybe yield on Ethereum ETFs gives me goosebumps. Maybe the XRP Solana ETF gives me goosebumps. Maybe the fact that Strategy is going to be in the top 500 Standard & Poor's companies in the United States of America, maybe that gives me goosebumps. Where were they 4 years ago? They were nowhere. They've gone stratospheric. All that has to happen between now and tomorrow is for Bitcoin to stay above $96,500. And that man there will be the CEO and majority owner, as far as I'm aware, of Strategy. And he's going to have a Bitcoin hotel. And institutions are going to use that Bitcoin hotel for collateral. And that is how you tap into Bitcoin. And if you can earn 3% on your Bitcoin, it's 3% more than you can earn today. Maybe you'll get 4% on your Bitcoin. Maybe they'll give you future gains on your Bitcoin. So they'll pay you 5% up front on your Bitcoin. Who knows? Right then, weekly gainers. I just came across this. I'd love to actually see if alt crypto gems, whoever they are, if they actually did this every week. But the reason that this popped up is very simple. 2 of the top 5 gainers for last week are coins that we talk about a lot. They're not first, second, third, but they are fourth and fifth. The Oracle talks a lot about SPX. That is up 32% last week. Syrup is at 57 cents. Now, that's up 31%. I want to show you a chart. Now, this is the last thing before we get on to some other things. By the way, we're still looking for some ambassador applications. We've had about 6 applications so far. If you want to become a Crypto Warehouse ambassador and get paid to help us out, you need to get in touch. We have very little in terms of requirements. Minimum of 1,000 followers on X, experience in crypto, be able to write in clear English, and have a brain. Okay? Now, the last one is literally the only one I care about. You need to have a brain. But anyway, the chart that I put is this one. Okay? It's down 6% today. This is the chart of Syrup. It has gone up a lot further and faster than the average is and everybody else expected because they're expanding. Now, I think if you can get in to Syrup on a 10 to 20% retracement, that's a good time to buy in because their product is tied to their TVL. If their TVL goes to 5 billion, for argument's sake, this coin will be worth $1.25. That's it. Simple cause and effect. Why? Because the TVL powers their revenue. Their revenue powers their profit, and their profit powers their token. So if the TVL goes to 10 billion, I expect the coin to do a 3 to 4x. We're looking at $1.50 to $2. That's it. It's simple. They have a very simple model. It's very easy to follow. If you can get a 44 to 49 cent syrup, that's a good buy-in price. If this comes lower to 40, count your lucky stars. Okay? Count your lucky stars. Personally, I think we're going to be at $1 by the end of July, if everything goes to plan. I think there's a lot of good macro news to come out. I think it's going to be at $1. Anyway, let's move on a little bit. Market watch. Let's see what's going to happen. And let's try and get through as much of this as possible. I'm not expecting to finish the agenda today, by the way. There's just too much to go through. There's too much to go through. And you know I like to talk. Right, Monday. We have the Chicago, or the Chicago, if you're from the north of England, the Chicago Business Barometer. Okay, completely irrelevant. What is relevant is Jerome Powell will be talking today. I think he's talking at 9:30 today. What's that from now? 4 hours from now? 5 hours from now? Something like that. He's going to talk. That's going to shake the market, shake it higher, shake it lower, shake it off. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe Taylor Swift will pop out and do a little dance on him. Who knows? But that's going to be the important thing. I have a funny feeling that he's going to cave. He has no reason to keep rates this high. He is scared. Now, this happened once before. We talked about this on Friday. He is scared. Okay? He's scared that the economy is going to overheat if he cuts rates and we're going to have another spike in inflation. We haven't seen that. Do you remember all of those people who said that Donald Trump was going to ruin the world economy? And I said to you, ignore them. They're talking through their arse. Do you remember I said they were all going to be short-term tariffs? Do you remember I said that Donald Trump wrote a book about this 40 years ago? Do you remember me telling you all those things? And then do you remember the other people on crypto Twitter that were telling you that this was going to be the end of the world and the dollar was going to be finished and Bitcoin was going to zero? Do you remember those times? Because I do very, very clearly remember those times. And now those same experts, those economists, are surprised. They're surprised at what the reaction has been to Donald Trump's tariffs. They're surprised. It's taken them by surprise. Why is it taking them by surprise? Is that not their job? Is it not their job to look at things objectively? Because I don't think it is. I think they're looking at things subjectively. And I think they panic like little blind sheep on the edge of a cliff. And they should be ashamed of themselves and they should be sacked. And another group of people that should have been sacked are the people that did the 2021 projections. And every single one of their projections was wrong threefold. These people that tell you what's going to happen are never right. They're never right. Okay? Just because they're clean shaven and they're in a suit and they've got a posh name and they've got a posh title in a posh company does not mean they know everything they're talking about. Give me Michael Saylor or CZ any day of the week over some of these people, okay? Because they are clowns. They are clowns. Right then. My Bob Ross chart is starting to break thanks to Donald Trump's crappy tariffs. I have to redraw it. We're going to have a recovery. 97 on the DXY. That's my curve that I'm going to keep. I don't care if it goes a little bit lower because I know eventually it's going to come back up. The trade deal with China, which is in 9 days' time, 10 days' time, is going to see us do this. Okay, we're going to recover. And then what's going to happen is we're going to do that. And then my chart's going to be wrong in the other direction. But the DXY is the strength of the dollar. Pretty much been on the slide since... There we go. We've actually marked it. So not only did Bitcoin top when Trump came in, he also marked the top of the DXY. It was 109 at the time. Now, this is not a coincidence. A strong dollar is good and bad. A weak dollar is good and bad. But a weak dollar suits Trump. Xi, or whatever he's called, the Chinese premier, what was one of the things he did when Obama was president? Xi basically devalued their currency to make everything in China cheaper. Exports increased. Obama came out and said, I'm not going to do an Obama accent. He came out and said, you shouldn't be doing this. This is really not good for the economy. Blah, 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 blah. Did nothing. China walked all over him. Biden, China walked all over him. Trump tried. China walked all over him. This time, no. He will lose, but he will also win. So, again, weakening your currency is a good thing at the right time. You look at the pound. Look at the pound during the pandemic. We devalued our pound. Changed interest rates. Devalued our pound. We had control over our monetary system. Europe fared far worse because they didn't control their monetary system. This isn't an economics lesson. I'm just explaining that Trump is probably quite happy to see the dollar where it is today. And he wants to maybe keep it down as long as possible. But he knows, and they know deep down, as soon as these trade deals are all announced, the dollar is going to recover. Unless he can do something else to keep it down. Now then. Just like Glastonbury over the weekend, this is another train wreck for alts. We are never, ever, ever getting back to 50. Bitcoin does not care. 65.5%. What's going to break it down? Absolutely nothing. This is the percentage of the overall crypto market held in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is just eating everything alive. Your alts are getting crushed. Blame Bitcoin. Ethereum hasn't moved. Blame Bitcoin. You want Solana at $300? You want a $5 XRP? Blame Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not giving up. Okay? And these little impulses, I mean, okay, we're going to come down here. Alt season. Nope. Alt season. Nope. You know what? That looks like I've drawn a pair of boobs. I might leave that on there. That might be my new Bob Ross on the Bitcoin dominance. Where is it going to top out? Where? 67, 68, 66? Maybe we find something that's significant. Maybe 66%, 2/3. Maybe that's the line where we stand against Bitcoin. What's that? There we go. About there. Maybe that's where we draw the line. Maybe. But again, how can you bet against Bitcoin when Bitcoin is just... It's like Terminator. You can't stop it. Bitcoin dominance isn't going to break down. Until this breaks down, we are not going to have a very good alt season at all. At all, at all, at all. Right then, let's move on very quickly. See where we are. This is the total market cap, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you can see, it is coming in 3.27 trillion. I think it is going to go towards this line here, which is from where we are today, about a 10% move. I think we're going to see a 10% move up before any retracement. So I think this could do this. Now, the thing to worry about is that, and also this. Okay? That's the thing to worry about. There are many things to worry about. The fact that we may have topped at 112,000 and my target was an 111, 600 or 400, whatever it was. The second is we need to break another 5% up from where we are to break that. So I want to see us do the pink line, go up and bounce off that and then come down over the summer. And I wanted it by the end of June. It's not happened by the end of June. Maybe we'll get it by middle of July and then we'll have the fade down. We don't go up in a straight line. We do go up, and then we have a very long time of procrastination, of going sideways sliding down. If we can go to 115,000 and then spend 2 or 3 months coming down to 103, 104, I would be more than happy before October and the next leg up. So that's what I want to see us do. Again, I don't get what I want. I'm only showing you what I think could happen. And on a very positive note, and just leading on from this, this will be our highest monthly close if we can close at this price or about this price. Now we're coming in at 107.5, so we're not quite there yet. We're still another 1% away. But we did get a bit of a move up, and everyone's been saying we're going down. Everyone's been saying we're going up, and Bitcoin just does what it wants. I think if we can close this 109 area tonight, I'd be very, very happy. But we've got Powell speaking, and Powell's speaking today, the last day of June. It's not just the last day of June, it's the last day of the quarter, and it's also the last day of H1. So it's halfway through the year. July the 1st is the start of H2, it's the start of Q3, and it's the start of July. So it's kind of like a line in the sand. Now we're at 107. He's getting everywhere. You know what? He's like the Saharan dust. He just gets under your rug. He gets in your eyes. He gets in your windscreen of your car. He's everywhere. He keeps longing and shorting, and his narrative that he talks about on Twitter is it changes with the wind. I've blocked him. He was good fun to watch when he was getting liquidated, but now I just think he's slightly chaotic in his head. So I've blocked him because I can't be bothered with that kind of nonsense on the timeline. So we're back at a decent price. Every time he opens a short, we go up. Now, as far as I'm aware, his liquidation price, there we go, was 108.6. And I think we got to 108.3. So I think they nearly took him out. And the thing is, the first few times it happened, it was funny. Now, I think it's hilarious. It's just to think that I don't believe for 1 minute they are trying to take him out. I think they go for the pockets of liquidity. But just to try and take him out, I think it's fantastic. So I think if we can close where we are, this is that downward channel I was just showing you a minute ago, funnily enough, on the total market cap. It's the same on Bitcoin. We kind of need that move. Now, that move takes us to 132,000. If we go there, absolutely fantastic. I'm just hoping for 115,000, 114,000. Break that, and I'll be very, very happy. But we're sitting at a very, very interesting point. We're sitting at resistance, and either we're going to be too weak and we're not going to break out, or the more likely case, I think, is that Powell is going to be dovish today and we're going to break out, get above 109,000 maybe, and then close the month out above 109,000, and then we can start again in July. That is what I think. And I don't like sitting on the fence. I'd rather be wrong and honest than right and telling porcupines, if any of that makes any sense whatsoever. Right then, let's move on very quickly. XRP versus Cardano, which one has a real shot at making you rich? That's the key word for an article, isn't it? Making you rich. How are we going to all get rich? Are we going to go and buy XRP, or are we going to go and buy Cardano? Now, I know what I think. This article is suggesting that the growth in transactions on XRP and the real-world asset positioning give it a real compounding edge, whereas Cardano's stronger developer activity hasn't translated into real usage of fee revenue. Long-term XRP is better positioned to attract capital and maintain value momentum. Now, we're not going to read each part of this out. XRP is being used. I did see this a few days ago. There is real volume on XRP, not just made up volume. There is real volume on XRP. Now, the other thing about XRP is there is a convergence of blockchains that I've been talking about before. Solana, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, even Bitcoin. They're all going to converge into one great big spider's web. They're all going to merge. And XRP is going to be an integral part of that because of their connections with the banks. And no matter what people say, you know, XRP is a considered blockchain, the same way that you consider Ethereum and Solana, to some extent Cardano. Now, XRP, if real-world assets weren't coming on chain, I wouldn't be as bullish on XRP, okay? If there was no tokenization of assets, no tokenization of buildings and financial products, then, you know, maybe XRP is going to be more of a niche product, you know, cross-border payments, interbank payments, things like that. I get that. But it's not the case. And the case is that XRP is going to be one of the projects like Chainlink that's going to be heavily involved with real-world assets. And that's a bigger market than crypto. Okay? Tokenized assets can jump to 19 trillion. Now, remember what I said on Friday. That is not 19 trillion of real money. That is 19 trillion of money that already exists that's being tokenized. So it's already there. We can already see it. So I think XRP is in a good position for that. XRP keeps shipping. We know that they're talking to Cardano about using the DeFi tools of Cardano. We know they're talking to Ethereum. We know they're talking to Solana. XRP is going to be part and parcel of Cardano. Now, the thing for me about Cardano is they've got a couple of big things coming up. They've got their airdrop. They've got the tokens. The two tokens they're going to drop are going to be huge. If you hold ADA, if you hold Solana, if you hold Ethereum, if you hold Bitcoin, you're going to get a big airdrop. And the question is that going to be enough bullish momentum for Cardano? And I don't think it is. What I think is going to make or break Cardano is how it taps into Bitcoin. Am I going to be able to take one of my Bitcoin and put it somewhere with zero risk and earn a yield on my Bitcoin? Am I going to be able to stake it somewhere via an exchange, via Binance, for example? Can I put my one Bitcoin in Binance? Can I plug it into the Cardano DeFi Bitcoin ecosystem, have it fully insured, and earn 3 or 4% yield? Can I do that? And if I can't, how long is it going to take Cardano to get to that stage? That's the question. Because without that, where is the use case for Cardano? Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, use cases. Cardano has a use case, but none of them have been implemented, and we're in 2025. When do we say enough is enough? Stable coins are not on Cardano enough. Nobody really uses the chain at the minute. I'm not knocking it. I have a big bag of Cardano. But there's a point where you stop waiting for the bus. There's a point where you phone an Uber. And that Uber takes you to XRP land. So for me, if I had to put $1,000 into one of these two tokens at this very moment, it would be XRP. At this very moment. It's also got the ETF news coming on, which is going to pump it as well. Cardano could have a long-term value proposition, but it's not here. I can't see it. And the reason is, do you know what? I did not think twice about how I put this stream together today, but this is one of the most coherently progressive streams I have ever done. Cardano eyes Bitcoin DeFi pivot amid leadership void and governance shakeup. Okay, so we've already talked about the fact that DAOs don't work, haven't we? You can't expect people to vote every week on stuff they don't care about. I do not sit here and decide what KB or Tariq or Kishan is going to have for lunch. And I don't care, whatever you want to eat. I don't care if Cardano changelog 106.257 to change the block size from 16 to 17. I don't care. And nobody cares, because DAOs are great on paper. Lots of things are great on paper. The Man United squad is great on paper, but put them on a football pitch and they're crap. And DAOs, as Jupiter has proven, are crap. I have seen the Luna DAO in operation. It's crap. It's not crap because it doesn't work. It does work, but it's proof of wealth. If you've got enough Cardano, if you've got enough Jupiter, Jupe token, if you've got enough, what was the token we've just been saying then? Luna tokens, you win the vote. It's just the way it is. It's proof of wealth, and that's not how an ecosystem should work. Decentralization is a myth. Okay, it's not decentralization. It's just different computers in different places. So it's decentralized in terms of the tech. So if France disappeared tomorrow, Bitcoin would still operate because it's decentralized, and so would every other blockchain. Okay, but if somebody's got 35% of all the tokens on your chain and they vote, they get 35% of whichever direction they want to go in. And we already know 50 to 60% of people vote. So whatever they want to do, they get, because they have the controlling number of votes. It doesn't work. And Charles has handed over the reins. There he is. You would not believe that he is 23 years of age, would you? You wouldn't believe that. I don't think he is 23, by the way. I think he's about 29, 30. But anyway, looks my age. So it's at a crossroads, as many blockchains are. We're going to talk about Polkadot in a minute. Cardano has to go from if to when to now. That's what it needs to do. Not if it can do it, not when it can do it, but now it can do it. And that's what Cardano needs. And I have complete faith in the Cardano ecosystem. I've got complete faith in the people that run it. No chain exists where people don't disagree. Disagreeing is part and parcel of running something where there are 20,000 different opinions. And the key is for the brightest opinion to win. And I think having this Bitcoin DeFi. So I'll read this tweet out. We've got Laos, Hydra, Midnight, Bitcoin DeFi alongside governance, security and decentralization. Bitcoin DeFi is indeed the largest opportunity, but the single biggest issue is that we are missing a competent foundation and executive authority to push these narratives into. And what was going to happen when Charles stepped down? And I agreed he should have stepped down, by the way. But there needs to be somebody in his place. Vitalik has to go, but somebody has to take his place. You can't step down. You can't say, I'm not the captain of the ship anymore, and then not have somebody to steer the ship. Because then the ship just falls on rocks and it sinks. And that's what we don't want to see for Cardano. Now, they're going to solve the governance issue. They're going to solve that. It's a bit hippie to have this thing. We're all going to vote, man. It's all going to be cool. We're all going to have the best decisions in the world. That never happens. And if you know the young ones, you'll know who I was being then. So Hoskinson needs to form a board of directors, of people from the different backgrounds of Cardano, and they need to make decisions in a room. And each one can bring the decisions from their people, and they need to put aside their differences and focus on the single biggest opportunity that they have got, and that's to unlock Bitcoin DeFi. At the minute, you've got plenty of layer 2s, core. I can never remember all the names. Stacks, core. The one that's on the tip of my tongue begins with a H. You've got them. You've got Sol Protocol. They're all trying to do the same thing. If Cardano spend another year not providing Bitcoin DeFi, they will be gone. There'll be nothing left because everybody else will have taken the pie. Okay? That's why it's important. So they need to sort out the leadership, and they need to sort out how, when, and where this Bitcoin DeFi solution is going to happen, because this man promised me that he was going to demonstrate the Bitcoin DeFi utility of Cardano at the next Bitcoin conference. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is September or October this year, and we are in July. That's 3 months for him and Cardano to sort their stuff out, because if they're late again, they are going to lose probably another supporter in me. Now then, how far or how long do we have left? 11:46. Show stopped. No, I'm still here. I'm looking around. It's on behind me. Good morning, Bullish Bull. You are lagging. Yeah, I think it might be at your end. It's not lagging at my end, I don't think. I've not had any messages. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to miss off the syrup article because I covered that in the chart. And that leaves us with DOT and Squid Musk to go through for the rest of the show. Let's see. Oh, I've got neck ache. Right then. I don't gloat at the downfall of many things, unless they're bad things. Unfortunate. Solana co-founder reacts to Polkadot's downfall. Is Polkadot actually dead? Critics argue that the project suffers from its technical complexity and lack of clear vision. In a recent post, Solana co-founder Anatoly has praised Polkadot, one of the key Ethereum competitors, and a discussion about the gradual demise of the popular cryptocurrency. Right, let me make this a little bit bigger because I've got a great big microphone in front of my face. It makes it quite hard to read. He praised the co-founder Gavin Wood and his team for their important contributions to the Rust ecosystem. Yevlenko has acknowledged that Solana's development in Rust was less challenging due to the foundation work that was performed by Polkadot. This post comes after a viral post on X that argued that Polkadot was essentially dead. Polkadot, which raised $187 million during 2017's ICO, was hyped up as the ultimate Ethereum killer. It enabled multiple parachains with shared security, seamlessly solving scalability. However, it never managed to build out. EOS comes to mind. Part of the reason why it struggled is that the developers found Rust, the coding language of the network, hard to use. The blockchain has also complex staking and governance ecosystems that are too complicated for new users. Now the network suffers from a lack of clear vision, which impedes its growth. Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret. I absolutely detest Gavin Wood. And I've detested Gavin Wood for years. And it's not a personal thing. I've never met the guy. I don't need to meet the guy. His personal life is not something that can be discussed on here. And some of the stuff that he got up to is unforgivable. And therefore, I said from the start of Crypto Warehouse, we were never going to talk about Polkadot. He is obviously one of the founding members of Ethereum, along with Charles, along with Vitalik. But what he got up to in his earlier years is unforgivable, and he should not be. People have been cancelled for way less than what he's done. Now, over the last couple of months, he's tried to come out and salvage the situation. He's gone on some podcasts. At one point last year or the year before, he was paying about $1 million to $1.2 million a month to influencers. I'm not going to name names on here. The list was leaked. And he was paying them $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 to talk positively about Polkadot. Why do you need to pay people so much money to talk positively about your project? Just let your project work. I don't believe Anatoly pays that many people to talk about Solana. It does its own thing. You know, you look at Sui. Sui pay an awful lot of money for people to talk about Sui. Solana does not. You can only pay people so long for so much before you run out of money. So do I want to see Polkadot disappear? Yes. I say many times on here that not every project you've ever put money into is going to survive. A lot of them, 90% of them, will die. 90% of them won't exist. A lot of the layer 2s are going to go. A lot of the layer 3s that pop up don't get any traction. They're going to go. Okay? Not everything that exists today will exist in 2030. Not everything that exists in 2017 and 2021 exists today. You only have to go back 3 or 4 years to see what's going to happen in 3 or 4 years. Okay? Goethe or somebody said, we will never learn from our mistakes unless we look to the past, or something along those lines. It's the same thing. I didn't know Donald Trump's tariff wars were going to last this short. I just went off history, and history proved me right. I am not some kind of wise sage. I just look back at history and say what happened then. That's going to happen now. Polkadot is going to die. Nothing in the world is going to save it, short of Gavin Wood stepping down and putting in a new, absolutely dynamic leader in charge of that project who's going to take it forward. Because I've watched his interviews. He just looks shifty. He looks like a grifter. You don't need that. You need somebody... If I'm going to be brutally stereotypical, a slightly overweight bloke with a beard, losing hair, who looks like they haven't slept in a month. Okay, that's what you need, and you need him to sit there and explain in English how it's going to work. And when you get yourself one of them, it's away. Okay, it's off. It's going to fly. Until then, you've got a chain that no one knows how it works, and nobody uses, and nobody talks about. And no matter how many flashing icons you have on CoinMarketCap, it's trash. In my opinion. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Simon, I can't tell you until tomorrow. I did message your Twitter thing. I did message you about it either yesterday or the day before. I don't know if you have access to that, but I said I'll be in touch. But I can give you a hint after this. Now then, this is the one I want to get to. Netflix's Squid Game creator compares rich villains to Elon Musk. The creator says the show's billionaire villains now mirror figures like Elon Musk. As Season 3 sharpens its critique of visible oligarch powers. There he is, Elon Musk. Boo, he's a bad man. Isn't he just? Hwang Dong-hyuk, the creator of Squid Game, said the VIP characters now reflect visible billionaires like Elon Musk who control the world almost. Absolutely not. Musk recently stepped down from leading Doge, a spending cut agency. Hwang said both the show's plot and real life demonstrate how the ultra-rich, from tech moguls to oligarchs, are taking off their masks and openly shaping global events. The creator says that wealthy villains increasingly reflect world billionaires, and Elon Musk comes to mind. Elon Musk is everywhere these days. I'm not doing the accent. Don't even ask me. Everyone talks about him, he told Time magazine. Not only is he the head of a huge tech company that controls the world almost, but he's also the showman. Okay, I thought some of the VIPs do kind of resemble Elon Musk. Now again, I don't believe Elon Musk controls the world. I don't believe Donald Trump controls the world, but I think Donald Trump has way more sway over the world of politics and financials than Elon Musk. Elon Musk owns X. Yes, absolutely. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook. He never gets mentioned. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. He never gets mentioned because they're not in the limelight. But Elon Musk, who is in the limelight, he gets mentioned all the time. Now, do I think that's fair? I don't care. I think that Squid Game is a very nice TV show to watch. And I don't really watch a lot of it, but it's good fun to watch. But again, you have the same concepts in different shows. It's always the rich people. It's always them playing games with the poor people. It's always that real kind of pantomime villain going on there. I don't care. Right then, the one thing that I can't mention, I'm going to bring up on my screen now. You will see that I have changed my X account. You will see that it's time for me to use a more grown-up picture of me. There you go, a grown-up picture of me. Now, I have been compared to 3 people this weekend. I've been compared, when I was younger, to David Essex. I don't look anything like David Essex, but I've been compared to him. Number 2, Ricky Gervais put a picture up after playing tennis yesterday. I was told I look like Ricky Gervais. And the third one, my mother calls me Lee Mack. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you Lee Mack because we're at the end of the show and I can't talk about the icons that are on the screen, but if you look closely, you will see that there is a green icon on the screen that wasn't there before, which is why I've updated it. And I can't talk about it till tomorrow, so that's just the way it's going to have to be. Now, this is Lee Mack. I've been told I look like Lee Mack. Do I look like Lee Mack? Now, you've got to be honest, okay? Me? Hang on. Lee Mack. I don't see the resemblance. Nope, I don't think so. Absolutely not. But there you go. Right, hang on. Let me just kill this for a second. Right then, we have 2 minutes to go. So I'm glad we got to here. I did have to cut an article out to get to here. So basically, we're going to have a really busy July. We've obviously got the usual suspects that we make content about. We're going to continue to make content about Maple Finance. We're still going to make content about Mew. Still going to make content about WolfSwap, but we've got 2 new partners and a third partner I can't mention the name of. So we're bringing on 3 people, 3 new projects for July. Orbi Protocol, Corgi AI, which is on your screen here, and a third one we can't mention until tomorrow. Corgi AI is going to be a quiz night. I'm probably going to have to make a video about how these quiz night works, because a lot of people probably sit there and think we just read out questions and you guess in chat, and then I say, well done, Simon or Tariq, you got that right. I don't think anybody knows that these quizzes are interactive without me making a video to show them. So I'm going to have to do that. Now, what this means is that we're not going to get a Wednesday night off for a very long time. We've done 4 consecutive Wednesday nights. This will be the 5th. We've then contractually, we've got a WolfSwap and a Mew quiz to do. So that's the next 3. So we're going to have 7 weeks minimum of these quiz nights. And we may have to do another one. We're never going to see an end of these quiz nights on a Wednesday. We wanted to put an end to them, but people keep asking us about them. So that's on Wednesday. If you can make it, make it. It's going to be real fun. There's going to be prizes. The top 3 win all the same amount. So 1, 2, and 3, they don't win any difference. So if you finish first or third, it's the same amount of money. The questions are going to be about Corgi AI. They're going to be about the project. What was it? It's market cap, it's supply, all that kind of nonsense. So that's what it's going to be about. And it's going to be fun. It's always going to be fun. But what isn't going to be fun is the fact that we're going to have to sit in a unair-conditioned room in this heat doing it, which means we won't be able to have our yak water. We'll have to drink real water. And we're going to have to find some way of putting our feet in a bowl of ice to stay cool. So that is Wednesday. I'm going to start making videos about Orbi Protocol this week. I'm going to start making videos about Corgi AI this week. We have a load of other things coming up. We're probably going to have to start doing about 5 videos a week now to keep up with demand, on top of the VIP OG videos we make, on top of anything else we want to make. So we're going to be fairly busy, but thank you all for sticking with us. Have a great day. Try and stay cool, because it's absolutely boiling outside and I'm dying. And I'm drinking coffee. It never ends, does it? Right, thank you all for coming. I will see you all in the morning. This week I'm streaming today, tomorrow, and Friday at this time. And then we're streaming on Wednesday night. The Oracle is streaming, I think it's Tuesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I don't remember when. Anyway, take care, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow.